welcome to Roundtable Live. I'm Bear Taffy, joined by Mathas Games, Northern Lion, and Rockley Smile. It's July 1st, 2016. Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day, everybody.
Happy Canada Day.
How you celebrating?
Happy Canada Day.
None of us shaved to celebrate.
Thank God Mathas is wearing his red shirt to celebrate Canada Day.
That's what I wear it for.
Repping. You can't read it, but there you go. That's my representation.
Can I just point out the fact that says Victoria, Canada, 1862 is fucking bullshit because Canada wasn't even a country until 1867. So I don't know what Victoria is trying to like get up to by acting like it's 5 years older than Canada. Victoria as a city maybe, but you can't say Victoria, Canada, 1867 or 1862. It doesn't make any damn sense.
Yeah.
Did Bear buy the shirt?
I did.
Yes. Therefore, profit. They don't give a shit.
That's a good point.
Why
That was
not
the only
make it
thing that sold
earlier?
me on it. Like, if it was anything later than 1862, not legit. I don't think I could
Obviously.
even represent it,
If
honestly.
they're making up the date, why didn't they just make it like 1200?
See, that's-
Well, that's ridiculous.
That's why I think I've mentioned this before. That's why I always like the ones that are in quotes, like estimated 1912. Like if it's in quotes, you can't
Put a
refute
star on
that
it.
claim. What are you going to say? Like, well, it's just an estimate. We're not 100% sure when that started.
You guys, like, I feel like I'm at the point now where I'll be like downtown and there'll be a bar or a restaurant and it's like established 1998, and I'm like, that's not that impressive. And I'm like, damn, that's like 20 years.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's been happening multiple times to me now. Where like I went to a restaurant that was 1993, and that it did that exact loop in my head, and now I feel really old.
They've been running that place for 23 years. You're like, that's impressive. That deserves to be put on the sign.
I mean, like, I guess I should take a sort of perspective in that's almost the entirety of my life they've been running this restaurant, and now that I opened my eyes a little bit.
And it's
Seen
still
a
sucks.
restaurant that said like 2011 on it. I was like, well, you got to put something on eventually, because then in 20 years you go.
At what point can you say since X? Like, how long do you have to wait?
I think you should be able to say it for your first year, and then you have to take like 8 years off.
Yeah.
Like if you say established 2015, I'd be like, that's really cool. You've only been open for a year. Let's check it out, see what's going on. But then if it's like established 2013, it's like you could still be shitty and survive that long. So like talk to me in 2030.
Speaking of things being shitty and surviving for as long as they have, fuck ferries. Just totally. Because that is an obsolete form of transportation, man. I want to give you
ferries?
I want to give you
Ferries.
my experience, because I had like the yin and yang of ferry
I thought you
rides.
were talking about motherfucking Tinkerbell for a
Yeah,
little bit there.
like,
No,
What the heck
like
is going
literal
on?
transportation ferries, like boats.
No, ferry. They ferry
Okay,
you.
sorry. Oh, God. I didn't even realize I'd have to clarify that. Yes, like a boat. So we were going to Victoria. Oh, my God. I don't even want to tell the story anymore. We're going to go to Victoria. We're on a ferry, and we're getting there. And the boat ride there was great because it was pretty smooth, not too bad. You know, general boat shiftiness. But we also saw some whales along the way, so that was kind of cool. That was a unique experience. But that was like, I think, the pinnacle of what a ferry ride can be. It's just like it doesn't make you vomit, and you get to where you're going. You're not underwater, and you got to see some whales. That's some icing on the cake. But then our ferry ride home was hell on earth. Like the actual ferry that we were going to take home got canceled because there was a storm swell along our route back to Seattle, or I think it was in Seattle was the dock. And that, I guess, should have been an indication that probably no boats should be on the water, but we figured that something a lot bigger, which was what we ended up taking back, would be safe. But no, man. Ferries, they get across the water, but not in a way that I would recommend people do if they have an alternative. If you can take a plane, please do it, because I recognize the fear inherent there is pretty awful.
You can do that, man. You can fly Vancouver to Victoria and back on the Helijet. It's like a 25-minute flight.
The Helijet? Is that the seaplane?
Oh, I don't know if it's a seaplane or what. They call it a Helijet.
That's a hella sick, bro.
That's cool.
You take off from like
Hella
Vancouver downtown harbor. You just fly over the Fraser River and then you're there.
The
just
ferry
vomit all over the
is
place.
like the motion that you go through is like a constant this.
That's the motion of the ocean,
Nope.
Bear.
It's
Yeah.
just very but like I'm not
How you
exaggerating here.
use
This
it.
is
It's
about
not
like
the size
what
that
we got
counts.
to. when you're
Nope.
walking out on the deck, it's like when it's going down, you're on the moon, but when it's going up, you're on Mars. Like every step is like this massive motion you have to take.
Look,
Anyway.
I would get so fucking sick, but it just gave me a great YouTube video idea for all VR headset owners.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You know, we've got like the try not to cringe challenge that's really popular.
Yeah.
Now I want a try not to vomit challenge where you're in a VR headset but also on a boat rocking and people
do
have
it.
to tape you and you just try not to puke the whole time. And that would be great because I would just puke. And
Yeah.
people
It's
want
gonna
to see
be
people
2
puke.
hours of Mathas talking about being sick.
Listen, if Twitch is anything to go by lately, people want to see other people puke. So
That's against TOS, Mathas.
That is a good omen for our potential conversations today. We're going to be talking about social eating today. Twitch's new initiative, following along. That's from South Korea, right? That's where that originally spawned from, or at least is the most popular in now. We're going to be talking about that along with their new cheering in bits system. Really interesting stuff there. The Bioshock collection just announced the HD remasters of Bioshock 1 and 2 along with Infinite coming up, as well as Nintendo's plans with the NX. Apparently too good for E3, so to speak. They're trying to keep it under wraps, worried about imitators. So more on that later. Also continuing a little bit of our obsession with the Resident Evil 7 demo, namely Nick's obsession with the Resident Evil 7 demo. We're going to talk
Well,
about the dummy
I just
finger.
put it out there.
Yeah, man. I am like you've made me curious enough about it just based on how much time you've invested. So I want to look further.
All right, you're
into
going
it.
to be very let down in a bit.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay. Well, that's fine. We're going to take our picks from the Steam Summer Sale as well, going through July 4th. Keep in mind, most of your best deals will be happening on those final days, so this is a good time to catch up on it. If we got time, we're going to touch on Fig's. I'm going to use a gentler word than incompetence and say interesting situation here. If that ends up being able, or if we're able to work that into the conversation at the end. And then, of course, Ask Roundtable and Nick's Weird Games to round out the show. But let's start with Twitch Bits. A new cheering mechanism here on twitch.tv. If you're watching live with us over here on twitch.tv/Roundtable Podcast, we're going to talk about the people that employ us. Isn't that fun?
they don't employ me. Come on
Yeah,
now.
no, we all work for Amazon, don't we?
I work for Disney.
That's right. Introducing cheering. Celebrate together. When we watch Twitch, we feel surrounded by people who understand something that many just don't. They just don't get it. The beauty of watching Twitch, where they're introducing cheering, a new way to support streamers via interactive emoticon/GIF that shows up in the streamers' chats. This is a little visual display of it if you're again watching over live on twitch.tv/Roundtable Podcast. There you go. Twitch Bits are now open to a rough beta period for about 50 broadcasters, including many, many popular ones that you probably recognize. There's a little list for you as well. Generally, there's been a little bit of backlash to just this being a limited program. I wanted to talk about that for a minute there. I don't know how you guys feel about maybe there being like a limited availability of another revenue source for certain streamers. I don't necessarily know how I feel about it, but I want to touch base on that real quick too.
From a developmental standpoint, I feel like it's fairly sensible versus like to stagger it out is not just. I mean, I don't know this for a fact in this specific situation, but it may not just be like, hey, we're going to reward these 50 streamers and see how it works. It seems it's also like if we roll it out for a small group of people, that minimizes the risk of this being a catastrophic failure from like a engineering standpoint. Like maybe the system just can't handle it if we have 15,000 partners all linked up to the system at the same time. So it seems like beyond just getting a feel for how like the pilot project is making viewers feel, maybe this is easier from a technical standpoint for now as well. But you know, there obviously are hard feelings for some streamers that they didn't get invited, and maybe somebody that they feel shouldn't have been invited got invited. But you know, I'm sure that eventually, if Twitch deems the program a success, it'll be rolled out to everybody as well. But
I don't see it not happening.
Yeah,
I don't see it not becoming a thing for everybody.
It's like it's 99% gonna happen beyond the beta point, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I have no feelings about it being given to certain streamers over others. I very neutral on it.
So how do you feel about the practice in general? Then you enjoy the new feature?
I mean, I don't know.
Should we explain what it is specifically before we get into our
Yeah,
opinions
go
on
ahead.
it? Not everybody knows. It's quite complicated, actually, and takes a little bit of finagling to explain properly. Well, so the best way I could equate it is to something like the chat girls, chatterbait type of thing, where you basically buy a nebulous digital currency that you can then dole out in amounts that you prefer to streamers of your choice. And the amount that you pay for these bits, in this case, costs more than you actually end up giving back. So if you want to buy, what is it? It's like 1,000 for...
I think you get 100 for
exchange again?
$1.40.
Something like that.
Right, so
yeah.
there's a little tacked on extra bit there, pardon the word use, which goes to Twitch and ends up being just sort of a little bit of like a casualty in the monetary exchange there. So you dole those out to anybody you want to give cheers to. The idea being, from the sort of cynical marketing perspective, that now that you have a nebulous currency, you're not looking at literal dollars, so it's much easier for you to impulse spend $1, $1, $1, $1, $1, $1, and just have this sort of large funding amount that you draw from at any point you feel like. So personally, I'm a little bit not a huge fan of that. I also think that the cut that they take is far larger than they have necessarily a good reason to, but they'll probably have their own rebuttals and reasons for that.
Yeah, the
but,
rebuttal, the rebuttal and reason is they're missing out on a huge chunk of revenue that they could have a piece of.
As
that's
TV,
not a rationale.
Watching TV's content patch on it, and I don't agree with TB on everything, but I have agreed with him on this, even going back to like Twitch subscriptions versus giving an equivalent donation. I do feel like Twitch has a case in that, you know, they're providing the infrastructure, they're providing the servers and the bandwidth and the staff.
I watched the video.
Yeah, so like they have a built-in cost in order to support their platform. Is the cut larger than it should be? What I would like to know is if that cut scales. Like, do they get 40% of, well, more than 40 or less than 40% technically? Do they get 40 cents of every dollar, 40, or do they get just a decreasingly small percentage? Like if you bought $10,000 worth of bits, are they getting $4,000? Or are they getting something that's disproportionately
so when
lower?
you buy more, don't they get less of the percentage?
Well,
that's what I was thinking.
There's a discount associated with buying more, like in the same vein as basically anything that you can buy in bulk. You're going to get like a 25% discount if you buy 10,000 of them at the same time.
It's an extremely small discount. I think the highest they go up is like 12%.
Oh, jeez. Okay,
but does Twitch...
And that's for $300+ spent too.
But I guess we don't know. What I'm getting at here is whether or not Twitch is like, well, on a $1 purchase, we're going to take 40 cents, but on a $100 purchase, we're going to take $10.
We don't know the Twitch cut. We know we have the exact language provided by Twitch about what the partners are getting, which is Twitch provides participating partners a share of the revenue Twitch receives from bits equal to 1 cent per bit used to cheer for them. So the partners' share is not even necessarily even relevant to the amount of bits that people are buying. It's what they're using in their chats exclusively.
Twitch takes their cut right up front.
Yeah.
As soon as you buy it, Twitch takes their cut. Mm-hmm. The rest of the bits are a penny per, basically, or whatever.
So that's what we know.
It's straightforward. I don't know, man. I'm of two minds about it. I mean, for obvious reasons, I agree. I agree with the viewpoint that Twitch obviously is providing an infrastructure for you to make money and make a living and all this other stuff. At the same time, it's hard not to be cynical to be like, they clearly see a huge chunk of cash that they could be dipping into, and they are. Now, as long as they're not removing direct donations, like as long as they don't touch that and like put something that's like no more direct donations if you're going to donate, it has to be through bits, then I guess I'm fine with it. Bits allow people to throw like pennies at the people, which really like direct donations don't really allow because of PayPal taking basically the money. Now, granted, PayPal takes less when you donate larger amounts, but it will open up, I think, more revenue. I think the percentage in which Twitch takes is a little bit greedy. And in a lot of ways, I kind of look at bits or donations rather like tipping the streamer. And I come at this from the restaurant kind of, I guess, viewpoint in which when I was a server, the restaurant got their portion through sales. And that sales for Twitch should be subs. And I see subs as the money that they make through the streamers. And if the viewers want to say, hey, man, here's some extra money for a job well done, and they do it through donations, that should not be Twitch's say of like, no, we want a piece of your donations as well. That would be like my restaurant being like, no, we're also going to take a percentage of your donations as well, or of your tips as well. At the same time, I also understand Twitch being like, yo, that's money that we're missing out on, and we should have a piece of that.
See, I like the idea of the tipping being analogous with restaurant tipping, because I think that is true. I don't know how much necessarily I would extend it to like the idea of a restaurant having to make its sales on whatever its food product is in order to make their cut of revenue. I don't really know how much that extends to Twitch, because I'm wondering like what it is beyond being obviously the infrastructure and the platform for everybody to be streaming on. What is Twitch's offering? Because the partners, the individual people, they're sort of like acting almost as the restaurant in this analogy as well, to a certain extent. Like they're selling their product, and the tips, I guess, they do contribute to that as well. But they're still earning in their own individual space. So Twitch Turbo, I suppose, is what they're trying to sell to us, because that's like the definitive Twitch experience, right? If we're to believe that that's what they want us to think that is.
Twitch is the mall.
Okay.
The partners are the stores within the mall. Donations are the tip jar on the desk of the store
like
within the mall.
Information center in the mall.
The bits are a gift certificate to the entire mall. A Cadillac Fairview gift certificate that allows you to purchase anything at any store.
I don't even know if this analogy works.
Yeah, no, this has gone too far.
I followed it up to like 0.3, but then I was wondering maybe not.
Okay, I'm going to come across as probably the most in favor of this, even though for me, I'm like, this is just donations, but Twitch gets a cut. But I don't see, for me, people being like, oh, this changes Twitch into being like a cam girl site or something like that. It is more analogous to that, I guess. But the same thing was still happening with Twitch culture, right? But it was just happening with Stream Tip instead of it being built into the platform. People were still doing like, subscriber goals. Hey, we'll play this game at like X subscribers, or we'll do this challenge at X subscribers. Hey, we've reached $1,000 in donations this month. We're going to do like this special thing. So I did find it a little funny when people were like, oh, is it going to be like a cam girl site where people are going to be like withholding content behind like bit donations, when that's already happening.
Yeah.
But my other part of the philosophy is, if you don't like it and you want to just keep donating through third-party donation services or PayPal, why not? Twitch.
That's why I said as long as Twitch
cannot ban it.
Yeah, as long as they don't touch
can't.
that.
If they do it, there would be. You see the people like get like completely angry over like the social eating terms of service stuff, which I guess we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
If Twitch banned outside donations, it would actually be like the most uproar the site has ever seen. So my general philosophy is, people are never going to say, oh, this company is going to be making more money. That's a good thing. There's a lot of bias against that, even though from my personal perspective, Twitch provides us with a platform that does warrant some compensation coming from us, especially if it's in the form of a cut that comes from either our subscriptions or from donations made through the platform. But I don't see it as being like... I think it's like a lateral move. As long as they allow both, I don't really care. I understand the backlash, and particularly streamers being like slighted that they weren't invited to the program. But I don't think this changes Twitch culture much, at least past the first couple of days. But I'm interested to see what you guys think.
So, like, they still are making the pretty disproportionately large cut from any ad revenue, and they're still taking a split of every subscription. So I don't really see what value they're bringing to this scenario that warrants that level of a cut.
I would argue and say the ad revenue.
Overhead.
I would say they're making jack shit from ad revenue, because most streamers don't run ads. Well, that's the thing. Most streamers are not running ads.
Yeah.
Because it's not fucking worth it. Because when you run an ad, you immediately lose a percentage of your viewership. No one is running ads on Twitch. Very few people are running ads on Twitch.
But there's a reason also, and that's that they just haven't gotten good ads, and they also play the same ads over and over again.
That's
like,
very
if they
true.
actually worked on that system, instead of going in this direction, maybe they could bolster the whole system from the ground up.
I mean, that's been an issue for years, which leads me to believe that they're probably not even really invested that heavily in fixing it. And I think they're more than likely sort of seeing the writing on the wall that Mathas is describing, and that they need to sort of shift away from the ads-based platform if possible.
Twitch more so than YouTube, when you run an ad, you lose viewership.
Mm-hmm.
It's So that's another problem too. Even if the ads were better and they're making more money from them, if you run an ad in the middle of your stream, even if you're taking a break, people are tuning out. It's like changing the channel on the television. You have an ad, click, you're going to change to somebody else who's not running an ad. At least on YouTube, the ad's right at the beginning and then there's no more. With Twitch, once you run that ad, man, you are going to lose a huge chunk of or at least a percentage of your viewership. And so nobody wants to do that because maintaining a regular viewership on Twitch is so important. So they're not going to make money from ads. They're going to this is a way for them to, I guess, compensate a little bit for that. Nobody uses Twitch Turbo. Very few people have Twitch Turbo. It's too expensive for what it does.
Again, they haven't established very much value for it. I mean,
exactly.
What are they trying to do to make this initiative work better? If they include some bits every month, that might be a nice way to start.
Yeah, actually, you know what? That's a very good point, is that now they've sort of created a new currency that they can attach to whatever thing they want to attach it to, just like Twitch Turbo, for example. That would be pretty great, I think, if you could buy Twitch Turbo with bits even. Something like that would be interesting.
Yeah.
So you're going to buy bits.
Buy bits to
with your real credit card.
Yeah.
And then you're going to use those bits to pay for Twitch
now
Turbo.
That I think about it, that's pretty silly, yeah.
And then it's going to give you bits for buying Twitch Turbo.
You're going to pay Twitch a 40% premium or whatever to buy and
pick
Twitch
that
Turbo.
right out of the transcript if I can.
Just checking.
I think the one thing I have a problem with bits so far, and it's the only thing that I really have a huge problem with, as long as they I feel like Ryan, where it's lateral for the most part, but it spams chat more than chat is already a problem. Like, chat is more of a spam fest for people who have bits enabled than it is, because I can throw a penny at you, or I can throw like 100 pennies at you, because it'll just fill up your screen and be like, look at my name for 100 bits.
Well, that's what the beta's for. They're going to sort that out, and it's probably not going to be a thing.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem.
I think it's so interesting to consider like the landscape of Twitch's digital currency and what they have available to, like sell on their platform. We've been talking about this a couple times already, but like just the idea of the cheering being an animated GIF, like that holds so much more sway than just like any emote in the chat. And it's just so interesting to think of this chat as such a valuable commodity for Twitch. And they've got to be so careful with how they balance it, how they can distribute new things to add to the chat, and just make sure that it doesn't just become completely overwhelming. Think about when they were doing that World of Warcraft promotion, when they had the Horde and the Alliance stuff. We know that they're going to do that stuff now. We've seen what that does. And now we have like the potential for people in chat to have like 5 badges. You can have like Twitch Turbo,
We
the
haven't
Horde
even
Alliance
talked
thing,
about
the cheering thing, the mod
part.
thing. Like it might become kind of overwhelming and ridiculous sooner than later here.
I'm less concerned about the chat and more concerned, and this is personal preference.
Because your chat's already out of control.
Well, I mean, I feel like at a certain size, if you don't go sub only, it already would be. But or it already is, I guess. But like, I'm more concerned about or annoyed about it just being one more thing to shout out. And I don't want this to sound like ungrateful, because it is direct support that enables us to do what we do. But sometimes you like tune into a stream and it's just like nonstop donation, like it's text-to-speech donation, shouting out donations, shouting out subscribers, shouting out followers, and you're just like, there are streams that you can watch that are just that, like 6 hours of just reading people's names.
People
for
just
like
opening
differing
loot
levels of
boxes for 2 hours. I mean, Jesus, when does it end?
So I just worry that like it reaches a point at which there's no way for this to not come across as offensive, so I'm just going to say it and then apologize for it after. If this becomes like another viable way for a lot of contribution to come in, it does kind of turn Twitch streamers into panhandlers to some extent, where maybe like 25% of the content is just thanking people for donating, which is fine and it's a good thing. But also, we try to strike a balance, at least, of like mostly trying to be entertaining and have like conversations and jokes and stuff like that. But it's already hard to strike that balance. But adding one more thing into it just makes it that much more complicated, depending on the kind of content you want to produce.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about, is that it'll just become just this overwhelming catastrophe in chat.
We've had that discussion, me and Ryan, on a number of occasions about how to better balance the amount of times that we're spent just to shouting out names and stuff. And it's not an easy balance to strike, because I do want to say thank you to everybody every time, but I also don't want it to overwhelm and be the only thing we talk about.
Yeah.
So it's an important thing to take into account. And the other important thing that I want to bring up is the potential for sort of psychological manipulation with this type of thing. It really does sort of prey on people's bad impulse control. We're talking about a situation where, like I said, it's a digital currency that is not easy to map necessarily to the real money you spent on it. And then it's being secondarily reinforced with badges that evolve as a reward for spending more money on a channel. And we don't know if those badges stay after each month. There's some disagreement about whether they do or if they're absolutely permanent.
That's a good question.
Either way, though, it's basically giving somebody what could be preferential treatment for having spent more money in your chat, which then, again, it could lead to abuse in certain situations. And I just don't know how comfortable I feel with that, or how comfortable I feel with other people actually intentionally taking advantage of that kind of thing, because it will happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think how much people can abuse a system, I don't know if really that's like the merit that we should judge the system itself on, right? But
Yeah.
You are right.
It's a discussion, at least.
Yeah, but you are right in that, like, this meets all those intense mobile game gambling.
Yes.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Microtransactions. It's designed with that in mind.
Yeah, it's got that 100% at the forefront of it. It's got all the shiny animations and the disguised currency systems. Yeah, you're right about that. But I think I'm a little optimistic about it still, in that I think it's a fun new initiative for Twitch to take, and it's already something that's popularized in different streaming sites as well, like especially overseas.
Yeah,
like,
this is not a new thing.
It's very popular already on sites that are not Twitch. So
Africa is one, right?
Yeah,
Is one?
Very, like, Kate has been watching a Korean streamer and YouTuber for like 3 years, and I remember watching, he streams on Africa TV, and there's just like all these like balloons coming up in chat, and like, if you think it's bad on Twitch, like, they have no shame, without being like, without trying to be rude. Like, the bits, actually, the balloons, change in size based on how much they donated. So imagine, like, if somebody gave $1,000, it actually took up one entire, like, chat window, and then they had to, like, multi-line scroll it down. Like, the way Twitch is doing it is relatively tasteful compared to the way other sites are doing it. So, I mean, it looks like Africa TV, from my perspective, looks like MySpace when someone donates. It's actually like hell. But obviously, that's the kind of thing, it wouldn't work probably very well here. But maybe this is a move towards that. But I mean, we could talk about this all day.
Yeah, let's talk about another one.
It's layered over top. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. Sure, there's a problem with inequality right now where not everybody has it, but, you know, give it a few months to get out there, and then we can figure out if we really hate it or not.
Right. And real quick, again, one of those things that is also quite popular overseas is social eating, which is a new category on Twitch TV. So this is very much in the same sort of conversation, in that it's a new Twitch thing that, again, is already quite popular, but is now attempting to take the States by storm. Social eating. Yeah. It's a new beta category that lets you share a meal with your community.
Yo, I want the bits for tits category soon. I'm ready.
That's needless.
Thanks, Mathas.
I'm ready for it. Adults only. Continue.
Yeah. The origins for social eating come from South Korea, where it is known as, forgive the pronunciation, mukbang, maybe?
It's pretty good.
I have no idea.
Its main purpose is to enjoy food in a social setting, much like going out to a restaurant with your friends, providing interactive entertainment around meal times for anyone watching. You eat food on Twitch. That's what it is. Bottom line, it's exactly what it sounds like. I weirdly like it. I think it's fun, it's silly, and they're being, like, weirdly serious about it on the FAQ. Like, this is something that's like this weird phenomenon to me now. Like, how serious do you need to be when you're talking about butt emotes and eating a sandwich on stream? Like, when you're outlining the parameters for what's acceptable, just the language that they choose sometimes it's a little silly. But
here's my philosophy on social eating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the appeal of it at all. Again, because Kate is a little bit more tied into the Korean streaming culture than I am. I've seen it. It's been around for a long time. 100% do not understand it. But why do I care if it's allowed on Twitch? For me, people are like, oh, this is like bad for the direction of Twitch. Twitch is becoming Justin TV again with like this variety kind of blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't know if you're wrong, but I don't know how that has a negative effect on my Twitch experience.
It's smart for Twitch. I mean, I think a part of the reason JTV shut down is because they had a huge problem with copyrighted content just being streamed constantly, all the time. And I'm sure it's still a problem on Twitch, but less so. They took their biggest category, used that to relaunch themselves, and now are coming around full circle while they are like an actual like competitor within the market. I think it's smart that they do that. Listen, when it comes to Twitch and YouTube, and this goes for a lot of things, I'm sick of like this new thing comes out, whether it be bits, whether it be social eating, and we have one side that's like hating on it and just like, this is the worst thing for Twitch. And then I hate the other side that's like the cult mentality of Twitch, be like, Twitch does nothing wrong, all hail Twitch. It's okay to like be neutral and like look at this and be like, well, why is it good and why is it bad? I feel like on Twitter especially, and maybe just because of the nature of Twitter, we have some streamers who are like, Twitch is my god. Everything Twitch does is great. And then the other side would be like, Twitch is killing itself. It's gonna be dead and we'll go to YouTube Gaming next month. All hail Hitbox.
As much as we make fun of people for being like, you know, oh, bleed purple, like I can't wait to do this next Twitch-based thing, I see like way more Twitch made a decision, and I'm angry about it. And of course, this is the nature of the beast, is people are always going to comment when they're like angrier about things. But there's like way more backlash to most Twitch decisions than just blind following. Yeah, absolutely.
We do allow for a few minutes of leeway before you are required to set your channel to the correct directory. But extended or repeated miscategorization is considered a violation of our rules of conduct. Guys, if you're gonna eat a sandwich, you better damn well switch to social eating, or
you have a few minutes.
Fear the rat. You got a few minutes. Yeah, there's a little leeway there.
Dude, you need 2 cameras, and you could make a living eating food.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Here's some examples of what you can broadcast on social eating. Eating a meal with other friends or loved ones. Eating a meal that you just cooked on Twitch Creative. Ah, hey, very good plug there. Eating a meal that your viewers ordered for you. Oh, interesting precedent.
That's weird. Can you use bits to order
Where's your
food?
address?
Oh, yes. Integrate bits into buying food for
Order
the
a
streamer.
pizza for your favorite streamer with your bits.
Oh,
Bits
no.
for bites. Bits for bites. Oh, God, this is genius. I'm so ready.
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
going to be so rich and
I gotta
fat.
find a new thing to do.
This is so
Can't handle
needlessly
this shit.
cynical, though. Like, to just be like, well, now you can buy bits. What if you use them to buy, like, biological weapons? Like, you have to at least give them the chance to do something really shitty with
No,
it
what I
before-
mean is I feel like we're headed towards a lifestyle where we're essentially permanently looped into live streaming.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
our actual lives and
yeah.
our on-camera lives will become one thing, and I'm not super comfortable with that.
Well, we had social media day yesterday, which everybody made the jokes like, "Oh, every day is social media day. Why do you need to celebrate social media?" Like, think about how much different that is from like 10 years ago. Everything is broadcast 24/7 now. That didn't happen. This is a very new phenomenon. It's worthy of being aware of, and I think
Is it
Nick
a
is
new
right.
phenomenon? Is it a new phenomenon, though? Because we have similar things on YouTube. It's just called vloggers. They
Yes.
just vlog their life.
Well,
every
I'm
day.
just saying, like, the very basic principle of like, everything being broadcast to everyone 24/7. And that's what I think Nick is getting at, is that we're getting closer and closer to, like, a full-on life cycle loop. Like, those already exist. Like, there are, like, websites that you can go to just watch webcams of people living their lives. Like, that happens. That's already a thing. So.
And it's not even like you can opt out necessarily in all these cases, because if you're trying to be competitive and stay up with whatever's going on Twitch, you have to realize people stream like 20 hours a day. It's really unhealthy, and we keep going further down into that hole. And I'm just worried about everybody's health, is what it is.
Here's
I
some.
don't know. I take issue with that. I think you can divorce it, but it depends on, like, this is another issue for another stream because it's large, but I think a lot of streamers do a very bad job of discouraging people from separating those moments from their
That's
lives. People who, like, you know, it's a great area to talk about, but people who make a community surrounding their viewers and then spend a lot of time in that community when they're not streaming. People who stream 12 hours a day and it's not like set content. They're like, maybe I'll just shoot the shit for like 3 hours and like have a game running in the background or something like that. I think and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying there's some level of personal choice. And I'm not trying to talk down to anybody or say that I have the answers, Sway. But one thing that I've really consciously done over the past 2 years is be like, this is when I stream. And when I'm not streaming, like, I am not Northern Lion. Like, I am a dude in the real world. And, sometimes I get tweets and I'm like, that's really weird. Mute, right? Like that. It's like I'm not that personality all the time. But I do think that a lot of streamers completely integrate it. And then you can't go back. You can't like pull away from that. Once you've got a Steam friends list that's like 400 people that you added because they donated.
Mentality. It's part of that Twitch cult mentality. It really is. I fully believe that's that bleed purple. Twitch is life. Twitch is your life. Stream all the time. And they feed into it a little bit.
It's a sense of community, man. Like that's like the main appeal to quite a few big Twitch channels is that sense of community. Is that you're a part of something. You are a contributor. I'm not saying this to like belittle it. I'm saying like this is what it actually is. It's the value that people get out of Twitch is going here to be a part of this collective group that they. Like it's either like a label you can put on yourself. Like if you're my Twitch sub, for example, you're part of the bear pile. Like that's just the thing that we do. So I think that's just a normal sense of acceptance that a lot of people seek out that Twitch can provide and probably creates a little bit of that bleed purple mentality that you talk about.
Yeah, but at the same, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here. At the same time, are you not preying? Not you in particular, but people not preying on that just to make money? I mean, you're part of a community if you pay me.
That's certainly an argument to be made too. I wondered whether we should use social eating discussion as the platform to go deeper into that conversation.
I guess I don't know if you want to call it a cynical viewpoint on it, but it is what it is.
Well, there is
it's
another.
Just sort of, it's indisputably true, but we go along with it, and people are of their own volition doing it, so there's nothing wrong with it. That's the only thing. I think we all know that intrinsically.
Yeah. So there is another interesting part of this, the examples of what you cannot broadcast on social eating, a couple of which I love just because, well, this one is primarily eating junk food such as candy, condiments, or energy food. I guess I would not be welcome on social eating. I tend to make candy meals most of the time. Also, primarily drinking alcoholic beverages, such as taking shots, drinking games, binge drinking, or drinking parties. Now, this one's interesting. This one is very interesting because we have to wonder what there are shows on Twitch that are based on drinking. I think it's like just sort of a socially acceptable thing, so long as the idea is not let's drink till we kill ourselves. Like let's not encourage that, of course. But there are shows that like do it in what you could consider a respectable and dignified fashion for what it's worth. And I wonder now. We've talked about this to a certain extent amongst ourselves, but I wonder how much we even want to make public of it. But it is curious it's interesting to consider where they're going to begin drawing the line there.
The thing that I think, the interesting thing about the social eating thing for me is not whether or not social eating is allowed. It is the TOS stuff that they announced today and sort of detailed today. And yeah, like you said, it's no secret there's streams that are really themed around drinking. What's going to be interesting to see is whether those terms of service are actually applied, like how ambiguously they're applied, and whether it applies the same way for everybody across the board, I guess. And I'm not trying to say that people who drink heavily on stream should be banned at all, especially given that the precedent has been for the last like 5 years on Twitch that's totally hunky dory. And not to enter into an uncomfortable territory here, Twitch's events and parties and stuff like PAX and E3 go in that direction a lot as well. They definitely have like a club atmosphere. However, if you're going to here's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about, someone doing a 50 nug challenge and then getting like a 30-day ban. And you're like, well, eating 50 nuggets on stream is not necessarily like more openly unhealthy than streaming and getting drunk while you stream like 6 days a week. Like that's
you're getting into that like what is smut territory, right? You're getting into the area where do we define who is binge eating or who is doing only eating this stuff for the basis of a challenge. Like I just really like chicken McNuggets, right? Like that's such an easy cop out answer to give them.
I'm
And it comes
pretty
down
much
to subjective enforcement, which is where it gets shady.
Yeah,
that's what I'm getting. Yeah, my philosophy is the same as Rob was saying, where I'm basically like, I feel like you should basically bar pornography, be able to stream whatever you want on Twitch. But what I dislike is that it seems like there's a lot of gray area in the TOS stuff, and it's like there have been people that have really like marketed their whole channels around some of the stuff that appears to be in violation of the TOS.
Yeah.
I'm not being like, oh, if it's, well, maybe I'll just start drinking 10 beers on stream like every time like that's not, I'm not saying like it's unfair treatment and we're being oppressed, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I'm just saying like, I don't understand what those TOS violations mean if they haven't actually applied like ever up to this point. But
Yeah.
I'm not firing shots at any other streamers either. This is, if anything, it's a shot fired at Twitch to be like, you know, the TOS rules are being applied sort of ambiguously, at least right now.
If anything, it's a shot taken, right? Hey-o.
Hey!
Hey, only if you're playing. You can only do that if you're playing a video game at the same time.
That's right, yeah. No challenges either. Don't you
No.
dare me to take a shot. I won't do it.
What may be the case, by the way, is that like a lot of terms of service conditions, they're kind of there as a guideline, but in actuality, if you did like a 50 nugget eating stream, they wouldn't care. And
Yeah.
like as long as you didn't like shit yourself and then die on camera, you'd probably be okay. But
Well, how much trouble can you get in if you're dead?
that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Get out of jail free card.
That's a good fucking
Twitch, you
point,
can't catch
man.
me.
That's right.
Now we've got weird TOS for both YouTube and Twitch. Now we'll just to see what happens when.
Steger
Every day is a dice roll.
Yeah.
Steger said something interesting in chat that was like one of his friends actually got banned from Twitch for streaming development of his own game.
Really?
Before Twitch added like it was before creative, I think. I can't remember what they used to call it, but like, and they never unbanned it. So it's like he's just been banned for a terms of service violation forever.
Wow.
I guess indefinitely. For
a thing that
something
they now
is actually
endorse.
okay.
Yeah,
For something
exactly.
that they encourage people to do on
Yeah, but
Twitch
what if
now,
he was
so
playing Minesweeper at the same time? Would he been okay?
maybe.
Like if he was under the Minesweeper category.
I can't believe they ban him for that. That's the most ridiculous thing. Like, give him a 3-day suspension and be like, hey, you know, like this is a gaming site until 2 months later when it'll be a different thing. But
Yeah.
don't you
What
do
do we-
that.
What do we know about the appeals process in the Twitch world? I know you emailed support, but there's not really any recourse if they don't feel like giving you any options, right?
I mean, if we're being real, it is still it's a sentiment that gets thrown out a lot, but it is true that Twitch is kind of a boys' club still. In that you got to kind of know the right people in order to get a lot of stuff done behind the scenes. If you got an issue and you know if you need it handled right away, it very much helps to know the right person to send a message. And it's not, I don't mean to slight them in any way, it's just that's sort of how things are being handled right now. And they have a basis of core people that they've sort of built the site around that they feel that they can trust, which is completely valid. But it does sort of create this bubble where action only takes place within the bubble. And it's a little disappointing sometimes, but that is more or less how things are being done right now.
That would have been a thing I would have prioritized over some of this other stuff personally, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm not a major corporation.
That takes staff though.
Yeah.
Staff takes money, bigger offices, you know, catering, blah blah blah. So
Craft services meal tables at every Twitch event.
50 plus
extra
Lunchables.
urinals.
Twitch should just stream their employees eating lunch every day, and they can get their money to pay more employees.
Apparently, the Twitch CEO he may even be streaming like right now at this very second. So everybody's
Is he doing
getting on
Is he doing the 50 nug challenge?
I hope so, man. Like that would really set the precedent. I guess we would know for sure whether or not that's something we can do in the future.
There you
I'm
go.
of the opinion though that like mostly Twitch does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And I think that this is you know, growing pains. I think this stuff probably will be clarified as more incidents kind of cross the line and don't cross the line, get punished, don't get punished. But for now, I think it does raise a lot of questions. But I'm for social eating in the same way I'm for Twitch creative. I have no desire, like people like blow up on Twitter. Some dude's playing like video game covers on a piano. Good for him.
Yeah.
Doesn't interest me at all. You know, LCS is on, doesn't interest me at all. Someone's eating a bunch of noodles, doesn't interest me at all. But I don't think there's a reason that shouldn't be on Twitch.
Yeah.
For taste reasons. It's just someone eating.
Yeah.
It's harmless.
Just ignore
think.
it. Like, yeah, definitely don't be mad about social eating becoming an available category. That's not what we're concerned about. All right.
Now, is it a symptom of everything wrong with society in the 21st century? No,
Let's talk about Bioshock. Bioshock Collection was just announced, coming out in, or did we get a release date? Yeah, September 13th on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. It's got Bioshock 1, Bioshock 2, both remastered in HD. Along with some very interesting added bonus features. They're going to include challenge rooms for I think it's for Bioshock, which is, I believe, PS3 DLC exclusive content for a really long time. So that's kind of neat. And there's also the Museum of Unused Content. But the Bioshock collection. Excited? Anyone?
It's like my room, the Museum of Unused Content. It's a fucking video game.
That's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It also has Bioshock Infinite as well, and all
does,
the DLC. Yeah. I don't think you said Infinite.
I did not. You're right.
So this is the definitive collection of Bioshock games, and seeing as I never played beyond the first one, I think this is a great point to jump in and play the other two.
It is. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, cool.
Yep.
This is kind of just a universally positive thing. I'm not really sure there's a way you could spin this to be bad.
No, absolutely. I loved the first two. I loved Infinite as well. It's been quite a few years, so I think it's definitely time for me to experience it again. I'm pretty happy about this. This coupled with the Skyrim remaster announcement, making me pretty happy as someone that enjoyed games from 5 years ago. So good news.
Get you away from Overwatch.
Yeah.
I'm going to be real.
Yeah.
What do you think the odds are you actually play this, though?
I'll play it. I 100% will play it. I will.
You know, out of the four of us, I would believe Bear would be the one that would play it.
40% chance that I'll play it.
Because, I was really excited for... It's not the exact same, but I was excited for Master Chief Collection. Then when it came out, I didn't get it, but I think maybe that was because everyone was like, it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty big selling point.
I pretty actively tried to dissuade anyone I could from buying it once I suffered my own experience.
That makes sense.
I generally quite enjoyed Bioshock 1, and the only reason I didn't play the second one was because I heard it was bad at the time, and now that 5 years or more have gone by, everybody says it's the best in the series.
Yeah,
so.
It's been amassed.
Bioshock's always been one of those games for me where, the gameplay is decisively mediocre, but the story is always really good.
Yeah.
So I'm I can, look past it's an alright shooter, because the story is excellent.
I pretty much agree with that, yeah. Infinite, I thought, was fantastic. I really enjoyed Infinite, so that one just stands on its own merits for both gameplay and story alike. But I pretty much agree with that analysis in that the story for Bioshock is kind of what makes it a game that you need to play, really. If you haven't played Bioshock, you should probably play Bioshock, because it's pretty fucking phenomenal. This is just exciting news. So just so everyone is aware. Also, important to note, too, just as an extra bit of bonus, if you own Bioshock or Bioshock 2 on Steam, then you are getting the upgraded version for free. So that's neat. That's,
sweet. So I already bought it then. Cool.
Yeah, you already got it.
Do you know who you play, what you're playing as in the second one, Nick? Do you know,
Yeah, you play as a Big Daddy or some version of
that.
That
was my only complaint about the second one is you're playing as this Big Daddy, but you're as squishy as a human, and to heal you just shove food into your helmet. I just didn't get that.
That's really strange.
You're you heal exactly like the first one. I just imagine this Big Daddy smashing cake into his face and be like, I'm healing.
That's very
odd. And you
odd.
don't feel very strong either, but it was still a good game.
I bought it when it was $40. It was the same month that Left 4 Dead 2 came out, I think, and I got both of those on a buy two get one free at GameStop for $40 each. And I was like, man, I'm gonna get all these new games, it's gonna be awesome. And then it just sat on my shelf. And then I bought it again on Steam eventually.
There you go. Par for the course, man. All right. Well, just fun news there for Bioshock fans, and for those that were looking for a reason to get into the series, perfect one right here. Let's talk about Nintendo again. Nintendo NX kept from E3 for fear of imitators. This is this is a very interesting story right here.
That's scary.
Kept from E3, held back.
Yes,
in a cage of its own fire.
Imitators.
See, it's more than just advancements in technology, man. It's bigger than that. So, they did not showcase their upcoming new hardware, speculated very heavily to be the new home console coming from Nintendo, codenamed the NX, was not seen at E3. We did not hear anything about it at E3, in fact. Miyamoto has told us apparently, or this was actually coming from a shareholders meeting that was tweeted live from an attendee and then translated via Twitter. So, I mean, as close sources can get. Let's just put that out there. They are worried about imitators if they release the information too early. That's the primary reason they withheld the presentation of the NX at E3. So there's a lot of speculation to be driven from this, I think. But I want to hear the initial
that scares
thoughts.
the shit out
Does
of me.
it really?
Because that just tells me there's another fucking gimmick coming along with the NX that I don't want.
I thought they said in that same article that they are confirming that it will have a controller that's not like the last few. Wasn't that in there too?
I didn't see that.
I'll browse through it while
yeah,
you guys
go for
keep
it.
talking.
Mm-hmm. So you're worried about just another bullshit Kinect-esque peripheral coming our way then?
I don't know what listen. I don't know what it is, but if Nintendo's worried about imitators, all I know is that means there's something different about the console. And the past couple of consoles, Nintendo has done something different that has made the console worse, and that just scares me.
Hey, the Wii U gamepad is fine.
Yeah, nobody uses it.
I use it. I used it back when I played my Wii U. But it's not like if it just had like a SNES controller, I'd be more likely to play it. Like off TV play, I think was a smart idea.
I got the quote.
All right.
It says, there are also suggestions that it will share certain elements with the company's handhelds and that its controller will be a complete departure from those of past consoles.
What does that mean?
So those of past consoles means it's completely nothing like any of them.
I guess so, but are we talking past? We're just talking then past Nintendo consoles. I'm guessing based on the context.
I guess
So. It will be unlike both the Wiimote and the Wii U gamepad. It could.
I think it'll be a cell phone.
Oh.
Reason I think that? Did you see the Zelda footage?
I did.
They gave Link a cell phone.
They gave Link a cell phone, did they?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
First thing, he leaves the crypt tomb area, and then he's scanning his cell phone on these little podiums.
Link has a cell phone now.
Yeah, Link has a mobile phone now.
Oh my god! Well, you're probably right.
It's a new era.
Oh no! So the NX is a cell phone.
To sign up for the 2-year Nintendo plan when you buy your Wii NX or whatever they call it. All right.
Please don't call it the Wii
tablet.
NX. We're not going to call it the Wii NX.
Can call it the Weenix.
The Weenix. That's good.
I'm so ready. I don't know. We'll see. It could be a cell phone, I guess. It could be VR, I guess. I don't know.
That's the only thing that I can even think of anymore. That they're alluding to the idea that they've achieved some sort of technological advancement beyond our comprehension right now. That's the sort of language they're using. Is that this is something that we haven't even thought of needing up to this point.
TV in chat. Link can have a cell phone but can't be a woman.
God, don't start. Stop starting shit up. God damn it. I don't know, man. It's Nintendo. I don't just give me a console that's powerful enough as equivalent to the current gen consoles or whatever they end up coming out, and get them some third-party support. That's the way you're going to survive.
The other part of this too is that we've heard that they will be using the latest chipsets. That's the exact language that I'm reading. So again, that's a little bit open to speculation, but that is at least encouraging in that Nintendo typically does not use the most recent hardware for their consoles. They tend to
They're
be
using the latest
generations
chipsets
past.
that the PS4 and Xbox One are using, because they're still late to the game if that's the case.
Did they say anything about having the best pixels?
I don't think so.
We have the best pixels.
How many teraflops?
So who are you guys voting for in November? Is just what I'd like to know. I don't know. It gets into every time we talk about consoles, I think we're a little out of touch, and I don't mean that to be rude, but I don't know. What does a Nintendo console need to succeed? If you'd asked me 3 years ago when the Wii U had launched, or 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago when the Xbox One and PS4 had launched, I'd be like, well, they need to have third-party support. They need to hopefully keep up technologically with Sony and Microsoft. But now I'm I don't really know if that is what they need. From a critical standpoint, I think that the Wii U has been the most successful console in that it actually has exclusives that I want to play. Commercially, the PS4, of course, is up there. But I mean, I don't really care about Nintendo commercially. They can do whatever they want. They're a huge company, but like if the NX is gimmicky, but they still have a nice spate of like first party stuff that comes out for it, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'll buy it. Yeah, but
So it'll be a tablet with a box, and the box hooks to your TV and will wirelessly connect to the box, so you'll have off TV play and also mobile play, and then any deals they make with Apple, they'll be able to put those apps on their own service too, as well as obviously make that amazing VR Pokemon game that they want to make.
So we've apparently got like
That's my deal.
a little synopsis of what the patent. Okay, don't let me go off on another patent tangent here, but this is what we know of the gaming controller, what it could potentially be. It details a piece of hardware that has an elliptically shaped touchscreen embedded within a standard controller, and the display would feature virtual buttons along the standard physical control sticks and shoulder buttons. So that seems...
Wait, elliptically... Say that again?
It's an elliptically shaped touchscreen embedded within a standard controller.
Oh. All right. That's odd.
when do I get my Chow Garden again?
Right.
That's what I want.
All right.
To play
Well-
on my controller.
Why is everyone so... I thought that I was Mr. Cynical Nintendo. Nintendo's doing something new, and everybody's like, wow,
They've
maybe
been
it'll
doing something new since the Wii. And
maybe
it's
it'll
so-
contain a Master Sword dildo you shove up your asshole. Like, what? You gotta at least give them a
That
chance.
would be innovative, actually.
Before we
Listen,
go...
I want Nintendo to succeed. The Wii U is just has not succeeded for
I don't
them.
care. Why do you care if Nintendo succeeds, though?
Because I want to see their games exist. I
Dude,
like-
look at the freaking shelf behind you. You got like $1 billion toy industry on display.
I understand that I'm self-funding Nintendo's existence right now, but I want them to exist without the need for me.
I think Nintendo will be fine. Like,
All right. Well,
I like
mean,
my Ford Focus. I'm not like, if Ford goes out of business next year, I don't care. I exchanged money for the product that they made, and it's... I just don't get it.
Yeah. Thanks for the hot take there, Tom Brokaw. I think Nintendo's going to be A-okay as a company.
The Nintendo is
Roasted.
doomed article. We were all alive when the GameCube came out, and it was like, you know, is Nintendo going to survive? How much cash? Look at their quarterly reports. Oh, they've got $100 million in cash on hand. Oh, that only funds their three, you know, people go through like these incredible like business analyses every time Nintendo comes out with like quarterly reports and stuff. I'm not saying they're immune to the forces of business and economics. I'm just saying like, I don't understand that this is the company where people are like I'm going to wave the Nintendo flag and want them to succeed. They're not like Sega. Like, they're doing fine.
Do I have to explain this? We have an attachment to them because they were so well integrated into our young lives.
See-
We want to see them succeed because we see ourselves in them.
Whenever there's an announcement, you're immediately like, well, this is stupid. I know
They're
one-
stupid announcements.
This
know
one is not
nothing
even an
about it.
announcement. This is all...
We know nothing about it, but let's draw like these elaborate conclusions
All right,
from
look, dude, I'm
clues
gonna
and
peel
try
back
to.
the
Lord.
fucking onion layers of what makes a podcast here. This isn't even a story. This is a non-story that we have to build into a
Yes.
story because we have
I
to
agree
just
with that.
speculate entirely about what the NX is going to become. That's the entire fucking point. So it's all going to be nonsense bullshit that we concoct, and that I think it's based on the fact that like I genuinely feel that sort of gradually over the last few years or so, Nintendo has fallen out of like the discussion of the big three. It's not the big three anymore. It's Sony and Microsoft that are competing with each other, and Nintendo's sort of like in their own field now of like, now we're doing Nintendo stuff.
And in the grand scheme of things, the Wii U fucking bombed.
Comparatively in console sales, yeah. Like, that's true. Yes.
It bombed.
Yeah. So it's, I think it's, I don't think it's 100% totally just like far-fetched to suggest that Nintendo is sort of falling out of the favor of the mainstream. But again, it's all, you are correct too in suggesting that we're a little bit disassociated with that, I think, just because.
Is Wikipedia.
Okay.
The Wii U has more units sold than the Xbox One.
Oh, really?
Yes, not by much. 2 million.
Okay,
Depends on your perspective, I guess.
I'm
the
done with
PS4 has sold 40 million. So, I mean, that's extremely impressive.
We're just
But
not thinking of Japan, man. Like, Xbox
you're right.
does not
You're
sell
right.
in Japan.
the 3DS has sold 60 million units.
Okay, so that's my...
Yes,
Like-
their handhelds always do well. always.
I'm just saying, like, Nintendo bricks up one thing. It's not like their next thing has to smash it.
But they haven't bricked up just once. The GameCube was a failure for the most part. It was still a system a lot of people. It was like their first big misstep. Was like the GameCube. Then the Wii came out and it sold like a toy, but it wasn't a big gamer console. So when they tried to transfer that audience to the Wii U, it didn't transfer.
I don't know if you can be, though, like, the Wii is kind of a failure. If we're talking...
the Wii is not a failure.
Okay.
The Wii just sold to an audience that did not transfer over to the Wii U. The Wii was a huge success and buoyed Nintendo for that entire generation. It was a huge success. But the Wii U, when it went back to focusing on more of a gaming audience, the Wii, like the audience that the Wii brought up, did not go over, and that you can blame that on mismarketing or whatever. But I mean, it wasn't.
What is the chart that you're looking at, Ryan? What's the
so Wikipedia?
Like, what's the latest
list of best-selling game consoles? Okay, the source for the Wii U
I'm getting like
from
conflicting information
April
now.
27th, 2016.
Okay, so that's pretty damn recent.
Yeah, and the Xbox One is from Note 3.
Okay, so I got totally conflicting info. Okay, well, yeah, then all right. So let's just I'll shame myself there and saying like, yeah, okay, so the Wii U is not selling less than those other consoles, but I wonder if I'm alone in what I feel was, or like what the idea that I was presenting in that Nintendo sort of has separated themselves from that big three perspective. You guys feel
I do agree that they are not offering the same like value proposition as a PS4 or an Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
To us,
which at this point I sort of feel is like a standalone PC.
We've changed demographics since we first knew Nintendo, and they necessarily haven't.
Right.
That's.
By the way, Note 3 of this Wikipedia article actually says that the Xbox One, Microsoft has stopped reporting sales for it as of like December 2014, but the estimates are actually that it's sold 19 million units. Microsoft has not confirmed it. That would put it ahead of the Wii U.
Okay.
In the interest of being fact-based here.
So the fact that they've stopped reporting then actually makes a lot of sense then, given the fact that no one seems to know exactly what the numbers are. So, there we go. All right.
But Sony is selling a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They're huge. They're huge all over the world.
They are not ashamed of sharing their sales information, so clearly they're doing fine. All right. Well, that was fun. That went in a direction I didn't think it would go. Man.
Here's what's weird to me. Is I don't understand, I'm not just like putting on airs for this, how I'm the guy who's like, let's see what Nintendo will do, and also the guy who's like, I don't really like care if they succeed. Like, why am I the one who's
you're not attached to it as much?
Yeah. If you're attached to it, why are you so cynical?
Because they've given us every reason to be cynical.
That's a cynical thing to say.
No.
Yeah, because I'm a cynical person.
That is true. But at the same time, I think it's valid to say that like there have been a few instances where the cynicism is merited. But like I said, this is all 100% speculation of what the NX is actually going to be, and we have to base that on is the previous two consoles, and that's really it. Like, we have the Wii U and the Wii to look at and see what sort of things that they have tried to do in the past when the marketplace has been like completely different from the initiatives they've tried to create. So it's not outside of the boundaries of reason to suggest that they're going to do something totally fucking ridiculous. And I think.
But do you want them to do like a PS4, whereas you want Nintendo to make a PS4?
Yeah, just a regular game system. That would be fantastic.
Exactly. I just want a game system with the third-party support as
well.
Like
Tom Clancy's The Division on the NX. This is
where I don't think that's even the point. I think they're just saying like they want just a basic console that has the Nintendo properties along with the third-party support. Like, the bottom line is that's what we were looking for here.
No more gimmicks. I don't want to be like, again, with the new Star Fox, I don't want to be fucking forced to use their dumbass controller to shoot a spaceship in front of me. Let me use my goddamn joysticks.
Wasn't it just sort of like bad though to begin with?
It was bad because of the bad controls.
I thought the controls were one of the big reasons it was terrible.
And because they put a freaking weird chicken walker in it for no reason.
There's some weird decisions with that game, yes.
As far as my knowledge of the Wii U basically comes down to that it's knocking it out of the park on first-party stuff, and then third-party stuff, people like us already don't buy it on the PS4 or the Xbox One. We just buy it on PC.
Yeah.
So like forgive me, I may be wrong, but I don't think anybody's going to be like, okay, the NX is out, that's where I'm buying The Witcher 4, right? Like, I think you end up just being like, I'm going to get the new Zelda, I'm going to get the new Mario, new Mario Kart, and then everything else I can play on PC.
Better solution than just decouple the freaking Nintendo IPs and put them all on Steam, and I would be just as happy. They could do gimmicks for 100,000 years.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
I play Mario Kart on my computer, who cares?
I would too.
That would be fun.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
I would be very happy about that.
Just give me a reason to never buy a console ever again. I'm fine.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slippery slope, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, all right. Okay, well, yeah, let's get on from that one. Let's talk about more speculation and theory. Let's talk about that Resident Evil 7 demo for a minute more. Nick, can you just tell us what the hell's going on?
Can we just hit the spoilers in case you haven't played the
spoilers
Resident Evil 7
demo? Yeah.
I
In case you didn't play the 7-minute demo or 12-minute demo.
I refuse to abide spoilers on a demo.
Okay.
I'm not going to let our...
I don't think they're necessary
Noted.
for this, honestly.
Duly noted.
All right, where do you want me to start with this?
I'd
because
like you
we've
to
covered this to some degree.
Yeah, so give me the brutal synopsis of our first conversation, and then like what this new information means beyond that point.
The brutal synopsis of the Resident
I had
Evil
to use
7
that
demo.
for the Resident Evil context. Yeah.
Okay, so there's items in the Resident Evil 7 demo that didn't seem to have an explicit purpose. The way that the demo is structured, you will find several items, you will finish the demo, you will then start that demo again with new information and a different plan about how you want to go through the demo. You'll do that about 3 times until you realize there aren't any more things to do. But you'll still have 2 items or so that you won't know what to do with, even after you feel like it's over. At that point, you go, I need to go on Reddit, because somebody must have figured out what's wrong here.
Right.
And for the last 2 weeks or so, everybody's been flipping out about this dummy finger, because you can see, if you flip it around in the examine screen, there appears to be a key coming out of the back of it, and they say that the finger is made of celluloid. So obviously people start to speculate celluloid, the stuff that you put film on, or you make film out of, and then it can be easily melted. So then they're looking for all these reasons to melt the finger and get the key out, and then they don't know what they're going to put the key into to unlock something. Regardless, there were no more theories that made anything happen. We got to a point where there was nothing left to figure out, and people were just spinning their wheels with crazy conspiracy theories that were getting way off the deep end.
Yeah.
People were doing analysis of the strobing lamp in the hallway if it was Morse code. People were trying to shove boxes through doors and clip through walls. People were trying to break out of the house by doing shit that wasn't supposed to be done. None of those were the solution. The other day, there was an email sent out to the Resident Evil Ambassador program that said that the path of the finger is not a path that is open right now.
The path of the finger. That's so
I'm
good.
paraphrasing, but basically telling us with, again, another veiled weird hint with it had a September calendar next to the announcement.
Oh, jeez.
With, I think the finger was pointing at the date of the 12th of September.
Nice.
Just to fucking speculate more. Maybe there'll be a solution, but we don't have access to it now, so we can all stop spinning in our damn hamster wheels.
Nick, are you part of the Resident Evil Ambassador program?
I went to sign up for it, and I realized they wanted control of my Twitter account, so I said no.
Ooh. Nick, have you chosen the way of the finger?
Yeah, I have chosen the way of the finger.
Nice. That's cool though, man. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Like I like stuff like that. People like to shit on it, but I'm like, people do this with all kinds of games. Dark Souls is a very community-driven experience in a lot of ways, and people don't shit on that. So why are they shitting on this?
Yeah.
No one should be shitting on it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no.
I had a great time.
Yeah.
Demo was probably one of the highlights of this year for me, as silly as that sounds.
The demo
I'm
was
excited
great.
as hell for the game.
I enjoyed the hell out of the demo. It made me really excited for Resident Evil 7. If they go with that kind of theme, it's horror again, which is great. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm becoming very encouraged by how the industry is starting to gravitate more toward the idea of the demos and the actual like representations of the full-fledged product before you buy it again. That's starting to become a lot more prevalent. I'm very much in favor of that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Well, that's really just all I wanted to
Yeah,
know.
I wish I had the big solution for you
Right.
guys today. That would have been great, but we don't, and there isn't.
All
So
right.
we
Cool.
can move on now.
Yeah. Fun. Okay. Let's talk Steam Summer Sale, gents.
Yeah.
To the jury. Steam Summer Sale is happening. What do you got? What's your hot takes? What do you got as your best
Keep saying hot
available
takes.
offers? I like it right now. I'm digging it. Hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take.
I bought all the VR games.
Hell
That's
yeah.
what I did with the summer sale.
There you go.
I just bought VR games.
Oh, Mathas, we got to talk about your Vive. I totally forgot about that. I didn't even put it in the docket.
Fine.
Hell yeah. Okay.
It's cool. I don't care.
This is a good natural segue then. What Vive games did you check out, Mathas?
Immediately upon introducing another segment, it's a
Check it
natural
out.
segue.
It's gonna go so perfectly melded, like you won't even know what happened. Mathas.
I have played on the Vive the Budget Cuts demo, Fantastic Contraption, Job Simulator, The Lab, Light Blade VR, Space Pirate Trainer,
Ooh.
The Blue, Tilt Brush,
Ooh.
Vanishing Realms, and Windlands.
What haven't you played on the Vive, I guess? Jeez, that was the better question.
There's a few things I haven't played quite yet. A Chair in a Room I haven't played yet. House of the Dying Sun I haven't checked out yet. The Gallery, Call of Starseed I haven't checked out yet. So we'll see.
All right, now if I pull up a video of you from your channel playing a Vive game, you're not gonna content ID match me, are you?
I can't promise you, but we'll see.
Okay.
If I can make
happen.
bank off of all the videos, I mean, I'll take it. We'll talk about the Vive after. Well, we can talk about the Vive after we talk about the Steam Summer Sale.
Yeah, we can do that.
So.
That's fine. All right. Ryan, what's your recommendations? With Steam Summer Sale right now.
I haven't bought anything.
You haven't bought a thing, huh?
No. I think like this is not an edgy opinion, but like a couple of years ago, I was like really excited for the Steam sale, and then I was like, I don't really need anything. And then I just sort of like every Steam sale since then, I've been like, I'm not in the Pokemon mindset of like gotta collect them all right now. So I'm sort of just like these games. If I bought them, I would never play them. Like I think there's 3 stages of like Steam. Your illusory knowledge of Steam. One is, definitely gonna play that, and then you never do. The second one is, I'm not gonna play that right away, but maybe I'll want to own it at some point later, so I can. I'm at the third point, which is, if I bought 7 Days to Die, I'm never gonna play it.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna happen. So I'm not anti-Steam sale. I'm just saying like, I don't know, maybe I'll get Undertale 30% off. That's my
man.
That's it.
haven't even
He'll never
bought it
gonna play
yet?
that game.
You got to play it, man. Just check it out.
He's not gonna play it. He'll never.
You don't own Undertale?
It could go lower than 30% off. Why would I buy high, sell low? I don't think so.
I'll just get you one then.
I will deny this gift.
Buy him an Undertale.
Oh,
You got
That'd be
Bioshock
sad.
2 up there for $4, man. That's a fucking steal.
You know what? It's real. Prison Architect is 75% off.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
a great game.
Great game.
there's like a bunch of good deals. I actually spent a ton of time looking through this, and I found a ton of stuff that I meant to pick up long ago and never did. And I ended up buying about 20 games for $30.
Hell yeah, please go into detail.
All right, so first one I want to talk about is called The Guest, and this is the one that I've actually played all the way through and would like to recommend. It's a sort of a puzzle, first-person exploration, thriller type of thing, like an escape the room type game, and it was exactly what I needed after the obsession of the Resident Evil demo, because it was, again, sort of like a conspiracy theory kind of thing with some weird leanings and strange puzzles, and it was, short, maybe 2-3 hours, but the puzzles felt good. And graphically was pretty, atmosphere was nice, and it was $3. So if you want a recommendation, I'd recommend The Guest. I think it was quite fun.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I can't
And you
take
may
this
have
game
never heard of it.
seriously because it doesn't capitalize the G in guest in its promo art.
Yeah, I don't know
And it's
why
like-
it does that.
If you're not going to try, why should I?
It does capitalize it in the actual listing on Steam in my
All
library.
right, we can
So,
give it a pass then, I guess.
50-50.
I also bought Beyond Eyes, which is an indie game I've been waiting to play for a long time, and it was very cheap, so I thought I'd grab it now. I don't even know how to describe that one. I believe you play as a blind girl in a world of white, and you can only see the things you can hear or something like that.
All right.
So an odd premise, but something that I'm looking forward to trying.
Okay.
This one you guys are probably going to yell at me for, but I did it anyway. Alone in the Dark. I owned it on the 360, and I bought it on PC because it was like $4.
Game was
And I wanted to try it again to see if it was as bad as I remembered or not.
It is, isn't it?
It's bad.
It's pretty
I
bad.
haven't played it yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah. That'll be next week's segment. Nick's regrets.
No, I have that every week, and it's buying an Oculus.
Oh,
Oh, we're gonna get into that next.
yeah.
There's nothing to get into.
I
shouldn't have bought
remember-
an Oculus. I should have bought a Vive.
I remember one of the first Halo tournaments that I attended. That was the grand prize, was a copy of Alone in the Dark and a T-shirt,
Fuck.
and we won. We came in first place, and that was our reward. And I tried to return the game, but I couldn't. So I tried to take it back to a Walmart, and they gave me the money, and I didn't even buy it
Oh,
from
the
Walmart.
classic Walmart scam.
Yeah, yeah. So there's
You know,
my.
there's also something to be said for buying bad games intentionally to stream them. So there's sort of an out there
Oh
too.
yeah, okay, there you go. There's your tax
As long as the
write-off.
game is entertainingly bad, not just like, man, this game is just boring and bad.
Indeed.
Like, oh, I hear thunder.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah,
Still going.
continue.
Okay.
Another game I bought was Bully Scholarship Edition, which I own on
Great game.
PS2, and I didn't have it on PC, so I was like, hell, it's $4 or something like that. I just grabbed it.
$3 right now.
$3. Not much of a controversial one to buy, I would say. I think
Not
pretty
at
much
all.
everybody likes that game.
Mhm.
I also bought Dungeon of the Endless, which
Great
was
game.
on sale, and I heard you guys loved it, so I figured I'd give it a chance to
That
see how it
is
is.
a perfect Steam sale game, actually. Something that is like pretty dope, but a little out there. You might not have taken a lark on for like $25, so to pick it up for
Can
in
you
a,
tell me
a
about
discounted
this for a
price.
second? Because it looks like I probably want to play it.
It is a tower defense, kind of like reverse tower defense strategy game with 4X elements, like base building. So you it's turn-based. Every time you take a turn, you move your units into like a new part of the spaceship, and your goal is to get to the exit. In the spaceship, you get resources. You use those to build turrets. Every turn, enemies also spawn in areas that you have not seen yet, and then try to break your crystal, basically.
Fucking hell, cat.
It's not 100% correct, but
Awesome.
Do you know the
You-
difference between the different versions of it that are on Steam? Because I was actually confused by that. There's like a pixel version and a crystal version or something.
no
All right.
idea.
It wasn't obvious. They should work on the marketing for that because it was a little confusing. I also bought the original Fear because I never had it on Steam, but I owned the disc. And the disc, or rather the Steam version, also came with Extraction Point and Perseus Mandate, which I heard were awful, but, I didn't own the original Fear on Steam, so now I do.
My experience with the original Fear is renting it or buying it for the 360, playing it for like an hour until Ghost Girl appears in the elevator, and then turning it off and never touching it again.
I've played it a bunch, actually. I never finished it. I thought it was, not that scary, but it had, some fun shooting elements, so,
It was a fun game. I thought it was more fun than it was scary, for sure.
yeah.
One of the few horror games I've actually played. Surprisingly.
I'm just a bitch, apparently.
No,
so-
I'm a bigger bitch than you, I think, when it comes to those horror games, man. Like, I try to stay far away, but I kind of enjoyed Fear.
Who's the bigger bitch?
Who's the biggest bitch of them all?
I'd like to play that game. I could
who's the
probably
biggest
play
bitch?
scary games fine. Yeah. I could outscare you guys.
Sure.
I also bought one called In Existence, which I believe is a 2D Metroidvania, if I remember correctly. Just looked interesting. Not really a lot of reason to buy it other than just looked interesting.
All right.
Something called Investigator, which is a first-person exploration game / puzzle, I believe, possibly with some spooky elements. Again, just was cheap. Thought it looked alright. Lily, Child of Geos is like an RPG. Yeah, Ryan's gonna laugh at that. Lili, Child of Geos.
I'm trying to look it up.
Searching
Yeah.
for it.
Damn, that's $1.
Yeah, it's a really cheap one on sale for whatever reason, and it looked very pretty, and I heard good things about it, so
Yeah.
time to take a chance when it's
is-
$1.
This game is $1? That is impressive animation.
Yeah,
Wow.
I thought that too.
Huh.
I also picked up one called Malbolgia, which is sort of like a little bit of a
Malbolge.
Dark Souls-y kind of thing, like an action hack and slash RPG. Heard it was not great, but it looked atmospherically interesting, so I thought I would give it a look. One called Montague's Mount, which is a first-person exploration artistic game.
I've played that.
was called one of the greatest accomplishments of Ireland, apparently, which I thought was a very odd thing to say about it, but I was curious.
That reflects very poorly on the great and proud nation of Ireland. Because that game is, in my opinion, not very good.
Uh-oh.
All right.
And in Metacritic's opinion, where it has a 39 out of 100 Metascore.
Did you play the whole thing, Ryan?
No, I played like 2 hours and then was like, I do not want to touch this anymore. Not to be disrespectful, I was like, this game is not good.
You know, I love walking simulators and puzzle stuff, so I might like it more than you do.
Okay.
I bought a copy.
Okay.
Bought a copy of Nevermind, which is a psychological horror game, first-person perspective, and it's the one that's supposed to be transformative if you're wearing like a pulse sensor. You don't have to wear the pulse sensor, but it senses your fears and then adapts to them.
Yeah, I heard about that game before.
When played with biofeedback technology, Nevermind picks up on indications of fear. Oh, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's right up there. I'm looking. That sounds like the same kind of technology that lets you know that Milo is a real boy.
I know this.
Yeah, I've heard it. I'd be curious how good it works.
How do you afford to eat considering your gaming budget? These were all on sale for $2 or $3.
Yeah, he's gone down a list of like games where the max price has been like $6. So you're looking at a really good bundle here if you've been keeping track.
I looked far and wide through this whole sale, and I found as many as I could that were super cheap that looked interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
There's still several more. I bought Saints Row: Gat Out of Hell because I tried it at PAX one year, and I said, "Hey, it was like $3. Let's see if maybe this is fun."
Mm-hmm.
And I bought Whispering Willows, which I actually don't remember what that is. 2D side-scrolling puzzle game, I think, with a sort of a macabre sensibility to it.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a good point-and-click adventure game that's also horror. It's 60% off. Is Stasis. Stasis was great.
Yeah.
You should definitely check that out. $10.
All right.
Right now.
I also picked up Everybody's Gone to the Rapture because obviously I couldn't pass up on that. Had to play that eventually. Was waiting for it to come out on PC, and now it is. And, I could go into a bunch of weird shit, but
when I played Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, I've played quite a few walking sims and adventure story games like that, but that one I just got bored like real fast when I got into that game.
Yeah,
so it didn't catch me nearly the same way other ones have.
Pretty universally what I've heard, that it's not fantastic, but I do want to see what the narrative's about and play it myself.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Cool. I think I got one more. I bought Salt and Sanctuary because I plan to stream that at some point.
Okay.
It was barely on sale. That was before the big bulk of them, where I got like $30 for a ton of them.
The big male bulge of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mathas, have you given up on that still? I don't think you went back to it since
what one?
Salt and Sanctuary?
No, I'm done. I'm done with that.
Done with that, okay.
I did not like it very much. I understand why it was good, but I played it post Dark Souls 3 when most people played it pre Dark Souls 3, and I think that had a lot to do with it.
That'll hurt it.
So you quit it just like you quit Enter the Gungeon?
Well, quicker than I quit Enter the Gungeon. Quicker. I at least put like 20 or 30 hours in Enter the Gungeon before I quit it.
Raise your roasteds in chat.
Roasted, toasted, burnt to a crisp.
I want to recommend Watch Dogs. I know that's going to shock everybody and their mothers, but it's $12 right now. So
this is why I'm not surprised you're going to be the one that plays through Bioshock again.
I am also not surprised by that one bit. Yeah, Watch Dogs is $12. I think it's quite a good deal. Don't Starve, usually on sale through these Summer sales. Steam
Summer team sales.
Don't Starve currently $3.75. Don't Starve Together $9.74.
Excellent games, both of them.
Fantastic. The expansion's also on sale. Reign of Giants is only $1, so there's a good deal for those of you who've already got the game. I think that was pretty much the only two that really stuck out to me at the moment. I'm to be honest, I sort of am sharing that opinion that Ryan noted at earlier in that I used to care a lot more about these Steam sales. In fact, I used to go to great lengths to describe to people what I felt were the best deals, but now I've just sort of come to the conclusion that a lot of the time we sort of see the same stuff go on sale over and over and over and over again. And of course, we got new games coming along every year that are going to go on sale, right? But for the most part, I've begun to lose a little bit of interest in the Steam sale hunt, so to speak.
Yeah, I love it.
Like, if you have a lot of time and don't have anything to play, I think it's fantastic. Or if you're like a collector, I think that makes a lot of That makes a lot of
I have a
sense.
serious collecting problem. Like, I'm addicted to buying video games. I can't stop. I'm not making a joke. I really am.
Well, I mean, we have a segment called Nick's Weird Games. No one
Yeah.
really doesn't
Yeah.
believe you there.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh well.
Stardew Valley's 20% off. There you go. Rocket League.
If you gave me every game on Steam right now, they just like unlocked all the stuff that's actually been released anyway, I would probably just play. Well, I'd like record some more Gungeon, and then I'd probably play some Overwatch.
Yeah.
Like, that's not to say Overwatch is better than all the games on Steam. It's just like I don't have any interest in playing like, oh, I missed out on fucking Prototype 2 when it came out. Got to make sure I add that to the mental lexicon.
Man, that game was a disappointment.
It's one thing to look at games that are just sort of vague action platformer stuff you've seen 100 times, but I like going after the ones that are weird. Right?
Yeah,
the things
yeah.
that don't really fit into a box because they try to push the medium forward sometimes, and I want to be there to see the ones that do.
Yeah, I understand
Right.
that.
I think, Nick, you've got definitely the best perspective on the Steam sale in that you were hunting for the games that would have gone unnoticed, and then you got a sweet deal on them at the same time, so that works out.
Yeah.
Well, of course, you got your Bioshock triple pack up here now for $10.51. So if you're looking for the early entry point, the HD remaster, there you go.
Yeah, it sounds like you're just ripping yourself off not to buy it like literally now, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just going to cost more later.
I
for the
don't,
same
I don't
thing.
like this attitude.
Well, if you're planning on playing it, I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, think so.
Cool.
I agree with that.
All right,
But I think there is an element that some people treat it as like the amateur stock market, and they're like, well, buy in on the Bioshock
gotta
triple
save
pack right
money.
now.
yeah, I
And
can't
then
afford not to save this much cash.
Yeah, then when it comes out, they're going to be like, I don't care about this. Like,
Oh wow, you got Doom at 40% off. That's a little surprising. That was a
that is actually interesting to me as to why Bethesda would discount like a really well received and apparently great selling game like a month and a half after release. Great for consumers, but you gotta feel like this is a bit of a weird decision, but more power to them, I guess. It's
Yeah.
like the anti-Activision.
right.
Maybe they hit drop off already.
Oh, that's actually a possibility. Yeah, there's been quite the influx of AAA titles that have been taking over the market. So yeah, it's possible Doom is already, it saw its initial wave of success potentially, then maybe hit quite the steep drop off. So yeah, 40% off though. That's a good deal. $36 for
That's a
Doom.
good
There you
deal.
go. All righty, fun. Well,
Yay.
that'll bring us into Mathas's talking about his Vive then. So
Hooray, Vive.
Mathas.
I have one.
Mathas got a Vive.
I do have a Vive now. So more VR talk for everybody.
Sweet.
I really, really, really like it. I get way less motion sick with the Vive than I did with the Oculus. The Oculus, it was a regular occurrence for me. There have been a couple of times where I've gotten pretty sick with the Vive. I would never recommend playing Windlands standing up with the Vive. I almost immediately wanted to throw up. But I find myself like really enjoying the hell out of it. It is as exciting as I remember it being when I tried it the first time, and I'm happy I bought it. I keep having that moment where every time I put the Vive on and I'm playing a game, it's just because it's new probably, but I still keep having that wow moment. Job Simulator has done it the most for me, where I put the Vive on, I'll boot into the game, and I'm just like, oh, this is really cool. Where I've tried to lean on a table, and I just kind of like, your brain is just dumb and keeps forgetting, and you just like lean. Again, I was telling you guys off camera, I dropped something on the ground. I went to go pick it up, and I like went to bend down and like lean on the desk that wasn't there and just fell.
Yeah.
It's a couple of times where I've noticed I get a little bit sick with Job Simulator. About 20 or 30 minutes in playing, I'll get a little nauseous. But moreover, it's just really, really good, and it's just really impressive technology. I've played Vanishing Realms is that fantasy game. Have you played Vanishing Realms, Ryan?
Nah, but everybody that I talk to about VR is like, that is one you 100% have to have on Vive.
Yeah, it is. Nick's ready. Vanishing Realms was probably the most impressive experience because you feel like you're in a dungeon. When the skeletons come up, like they're your size, and that's really weird. They have like a sword and a shield, and you're fighting the skeleton. It's like your size, and it's just in your face. And they do a really good job in Vanishing Realms to hide things, like treasures in like areas that you actively have to move and look around corners to find, to give you more money to buy better weapons. It's just, I don't know, man. The Vive is just a really different experience than the Oculus. But I don't know. I haven't tried it sitting down yet. I've only done standing room scale stuff. The Budget Cuts demo is another game that really impressed the hell out of me. And the one that made me go, man, my brain is really dumb, because like I'm okay with teleporting. It doesn't disorient me at all.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
The human brain is like a cat, I think, where it's like, whoa, this is kind of fucked up, and then like 5 minutes later, it's just like,
This is my life.
This is where I live now. Yeah, this is. I can teleport, I guess. Cool.
Yep. It's just it's so quick how quick your brain is just like adapts. And like it's just so quick too when you pop a portal and you can just use it to scout, and how just natural that feels. And being able to pick things up as well with like your hands in Job Simulator, for instance, how that just is super normal for you all of a sudden, and it's just so weird. But it's very impressive and I really love it. It's cool. And I want to try like Pool Nation VR. I'd like to try some multiplayer stuff.
Yeah,
to see how well that translates.
Pool Nation VR is actually really fun.
Yeah. But I like it a lot. I don't know what else to say about it. Like
I'm just watching
impressive.
you. I was watching you pet a little robot dog in the VR setting that just looks so goddamn great.
Yeah. So the lab is really cool. My immediate reaction was pet the dog, then slap its ass.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Did you did you play Longbow?
That's one I didn't get to try in the lab.
Yo,
yet.
Longbow is by my standards the best game in the lab by far. Like it's so much fun.
The one that I played, I've done a handful of the ones in the lab so far. I did like the slingshot one, which was kind of boring. That didn't really.
Yeah, it was okay.
The secret shop, which is like the Dota shop, you can't really do much other than like look around it. That was kind of cool.
That was then going to the aquarium and seeing like a 5D movie, but it just I was like, this is boring.
Yeah.
Right.
The most impressive one is the robot one, where you're in the portal lab room.
Yeah, you don't do anything in there though, right? Like it's just
you just get to mess with like you do a couple of things where you get to open some drawers and there's like little people in there, and then you get to open up Atlas and spin some things around, and then GLaDOS comes down. I think that was just impressive because they did a really good job at like
Nick having
scale.
had the fucking Oculus on the entire time.
Longbow is an actual game.
Yeah. Well,
that you can play many times.
I got to mess with some bow mechanics in Vanishing Realms, because you get a bow and arrow in that, which was really cool. And then Space Pirate Trainer is just really good.
That's really fun. Yeah.
That's a really fun one as well. Again, you just like your controllers turn into guns. You're like, holding guns now, and it's just like you're okay with it.
Yeah. So
you guys are missing out. I was playing some Farlands. I got to pet an animal, and
I'm gonna get the Revive, which allows me to play Oculus games.
I picked a fruit and I gave it to the animal, and he sniffed it, and then he looked up at me. He's like, "You weren't trying to feed me that fruit, really, are you?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I am." I love Farlands,
dude. All right, so.
I feel bad for you, man. I do. Because the Vive does have that Revive program that just lets you play Oculus games on your Vive.
It does. So, all right. Let me shift back real quick. So, Mathas, with your the list of games you play, what was the one that felt like the most like a game, like a full-fledged game experience?
Job Simulator and Vanishing Realms, like those two. The Budget Cuts demo too was really good too. So those three, I think. It's just one of those. They do the best job at making room scale an integral part of the experience, and I really think that's Vive's strong suit right now. And those three really knocked it out of the park for me.
Yeah.
Saber, whatever it's called. It's not called Lightsaber, but it's called
Light Sword Trainer.
Light Blade VR is what it's called. It was VR, like $3. It is the lightsaber sound.
Yeah,
and it's gonna get ripped off of Steam at some point. It has to. All it is like a lightsaber and a droid, like a drone shooting, and you're just deflecting bullets back. It's a cool experience, but I'm like, this is gonna get taken down.
Yeah.
Because it is a lightsaber. That is all it is, but it's cool, and I enjoy it.
I'm like over the novelty of the Vive at this point, and I'm just waiting on games. But I'm having a great time with it. But like, I bought the blue, and I did have a little bit of buyer's remorse. I was like, yeah, there's some whales. There's some
for
turtles over there.
$10, like that is a huge buy-in price. Like $10 for the blue, for what is ultimately a 45-minute experience altogether, was a bit of and it's not interactive.
Well, you can, if you touch the fish, they
get
swim away.
Yeah, they're like, oh, and they have fish AI. Everybody, it's great.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's that Call of Duty technology.
Yeah, they ripped it right off. It'll probably be taken off of Steam before you know it.
Then I only did like 2 of the things in the blue. I thought maybe like it was like an old CD-ROM game where there's like 1 game in there and then the rest is like plus 8 awesome modules, right? But
yeah.
No, there's 3 awesome modules. You just like watch a whale. You're like, wow, the whale's real big. Yep. But like the way people talk about the blue was actually like, oh my God, the sense of scale when the whale swims by you. And if that had been the first thing I had touched on Vive, I think I'd be like in that boat. But instead, like I'm over the novelty. I'm like, yeah, this feels amazing. Now I want good experiences.
The blue is what I use for like, my sister came over yesterday to try the Vive, and I'm like, we're going to start you with this because this is like a cool, hey, this is what Vive is capable of, then we'll move you to games. I think the thing I'm most impressed with, and it's really dumb, I guess, is just how, with Job Simulator, I guess, how interactive they've made that game.
Yeah.
Being able to just like grab anything and mess with it, it just really makes you feel like, I think that's going to be a challenge for developers from here on out, is making the world more interactive than any games are currently. Being able to just touch and pick up anything and move things, and they all have to have like their own unique sound effect when you do it, and their own unique functionality. And Job Simulator does a really good job of that. Now, granted, they kind of mitigate that because they don't let you go past like the counter, like you're in this little cubicle, so they can control how many things they give you to interact with. But they do a really good job at giving you a lot of shit to just pick up and throw around and throw at people. And if you hit a robot with it, you know, it does things, and it's that's going to be what I'm excited to see, how interactive they make the world. And I think Vanishing Realms also does a good job at taking advantage of that room scale stuff and making you crawl around and look underneath things in secret corners. That's fun. I'm excited.
Have you guys had any good experiences with friends or family members trying VR for the first time? Because I thought that was kind of fun. I let my mom try Farlands and she was into it.
Nick, stop talking about Farlands. This is the Vive section.
Yeah, true VR, Nick. God. More to your point, Nick. Yes.
No, Nick.
My sister, when I first had my DK2, my sister and her husband had come over to try it, and they're like, "This is neat. It's cool."
Okay. Done.
But when I let my sister try the Vive last night, it was like, it blew her away. Like, it was a really cool experience, and that's really fun for me.
Yeah.
I like seeing them being like, whoa, and it also makes me realize how stupid I look on the outside when I'm playing with the Vive, because, you know, you don't get to see what they or hear what they hear. But yeah, it's a really, I'm excited for more, and I want to try some multiplayer stuff, and I hear there's some really good multiplayer games out there right now.
So I've got virtually an obligation here with the Roundtable crew, having now completed 2 out of the 3 main VR peripheral experiences. I basically have to buy the PlayStation VR at this point. But I'm wondering...
You don't want to make that mistake, man. You're never going to get the end
that's exactly
of it.
what I'm getting at. I wonder if I want to have that buyer's remorse that Nick is clearly alluding to here. So, Ryan, you've been playing your Vive then semi-regularly, I imagine, right? Ryan! Ryan! Come back!
It's been fairly irregular, but
What is this?
I'm Tiny Head.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on more transformative stuff. Right now, like, it's not a knock on the Vive, it's a knock on my setup. Yeah. The way our living room is set up is the only VR-ready space in our apartment. It's too far away from my computer to use it, so I have to use Kate's computer. So it's been inconvenient. I have to kick her off of her computer that she actually uses to stream and, like, you know, render and stuff like that. And that's the main reason I'm not using the Vive more. But the other reason is that I'm waiting on more definitive experiences. But I do need to check Vanishing Realms for sure. And
Have you tried Job Simulator?
Not yet, no.
You really should. It came with your Vive.
I know, yeah. When I'm not just walking, or I'm not just talking the talk when it comes to if you gave me every game on Steam, I would
I'm
playing Overwatch.
Well, like
living that life.
the cool thing about the job simulator is each one of those jobs is 30 to 45 minutes, and there's 4 of them, so it's a good long experience, and it's really funny.
Have you guys tried Farlands? I was just curious.
But I will
I don't know what the joke is.
I'm thinking that maybe I will get another computer, or when we move next year, I'll make my computer closer to a VR-ready space, and then that'll be important.
Nick, have you been? I want to ask you the same question that I asked Ryan. Have you been using the Oculus like semi-regularly at least?
I wouldn't say semi-regularly, but I have used it a bunch of times, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I put it on the other day, and I was watching a bunch of grainy-ass movies. So there's this app that I guess they chose to curate a bunch of content from, and it's got a bunch of VR things that are supposed to be, artful. So I watched a few of those. There was one about an installation artist in New York City that decided to make this really wild picture of an immigrant walking across a crosswalk, and it was like 5 blocks long, and it was kind of awesome to be up on like the 50th floor of a building looking down into New York City in VR. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I will say, though, the resolution they filmed it at was garbage, and the screen door effect made it even look worse.
Oh.
So in about 20 minutes of that, you're going to get a pretty nice headache. Unfortunately, I also watched, there was a Square Pusher music video that they made in cartoons,
Ooh, cool.
which was quite neat to see in VR. That looked a lot better because it wasn't pre-rendered video. Sorry, not pre-rendered video. It was not film.
Yeah, I imagine like animated
yeah.
sequences are probably a lot easier to digest via VR.
You got Bongo Buddies?
Honestly, though, like watching movies on that sounds like the worst thing. I absolutely couldn't imagine it. You really do get a headache pretty quickly if it's not high enough resolution. I really don't recommend doing that.
Yeah,
I mean, try it and see what you think, but it's not good.
I'd be curious to hear how often that is actually being utilized. People watching full-blown films on their Oculus. Okay, cool. Well, sounds like the Vive's the way to go, though.
I'll venture into VR porn between today and next podcast. I'll let you know what it's like.
Really did not need to know that.
Still say, wait for Vive 2.0. Get that one.
For the general consumer, yeah. Probably.
Really?
It's fucking expensive. Wait for it to be better resolution and cheaper. It's just going to get better.
Not even the resolution bothers me because I actually think it's pretty fucking clear. I mean, it could be better. My biggest problem with the Vive is the wires. Like, I get tangled up so quickly in the wires, and I'm like, it's kind of a problem, and I wish there was a more elegant solution. I'm sure there will be at some point. But yeah, the wires are a big problem for me.
All right, well, that'll take us out of Mathas's Vive experience into everyone's favorite segment. It's Ask Roundtable. Hooray!
Oh yeah.
Every week,
I can smell.
Every week we get a question from our Gmail inbox. That's roundtableyt@gmail.com is where you want to send those questions. Today's question comes from Foster. Foster asks us, "Hi Roundtable, if you had to pick 5 games to recommend to someone who had absolutely no prior gaming experience or knowledge, what would you choose?" This was initially listed as 10, but I decided to reduce it to 5. And he gives sort of some parameters here. We want to assume that we don't know their personal taste. This is a very specific hypothetical person that we're concocting here, by the way. Assume that we don't know their personal taste, and they're roughly the same age as you. So we're looking at like, let's go like with the median age of the call here. Call it like a 28-year-old adult male, okay? The goal is...
Oh, I pulled this up that far, huh? All right.
Not just you. The goal is not necessarily to pick the best games of all time or games of historical significance, but to try to find something they resonate with or something that shows them the value of games as a medium. So there we go. So
sure.
5 games as a collective unit here that we recommend to someone with no prior gaming experience or knowledge whatsoever. Where do we start? What's the entry point? What's the first game that we show them?
Well, are we saying these are going to be a hierarchical order list, or are these just going to be 5 games that are of equal importance?
Let's just call it, 5 equal importance games. Let's do that.
I think that's easier.
I thought it was 10 games.
I reduced
decided
it to 5. Yeah, I thought that would be better.
Unless we can't come up with 5 and we need more room.
Right. All right. So,
I'd like to pose Red Dead Redemption as one of my contributions.
okay.
It's a great,
I think
great
it's
contribution.
an excellent example of storytelling in games, the high interactivity, higher user autonomy, beautiful vistas to explore, plenty of things to do, and you actually care about the character.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I agree.
All right, let's go with that. Red Dead Redemption, there's one. What else are we going to go with?
You gotta go classics. You gotta get in your Mario.
Yeah,
at
I
some
think we
point.
have to do Super Mario Brothers, don't we?
It just has to.
That's got to be in
World
there.
or 3?
Let's do World.
I think World. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think World is a better representation.
that
at
gives
this point.
that gives them the full-fledged Mario experience. So let's do that. Super Mario World and Red Dead Redemption.
Crusader Kings 2 with all the expansions.
With the Brave New World expansion.
I want to say that we should probably try to keep them like easy to access, so nothing terribly complex. I also sort of feel like, well, I don't know. I guess the issue of we don't want to necessarily provide them games just based on historical significance. So we don't necessarily need to do things like Tetris or Pong or anything like that. So just based on like the best experience, I'm gonna be a little bit of a homer and play the games as art card and say Shadow of the Colossus.
At least you didn't say Halo.
Okay.
I take issue with Shadow of the Colossus because of the controls, but I also do appreciate its value.
I can empathize with that.
Ryan
Will.
Smith from The Binding of Isaac.
No, I don't think if you're gonna be like, hey, I've never played games before. What do I need to know games? We'll be like, well, here's one with 400 items that all interact with each other. Right? I think you throw in one of the Rock Bands. Intuitive controls.
Yeah.
It's 1-to-1 with real life. Lots of fun, social experience. Is it one of the best 5 games of all time? Probably not. But if you're showing video games off for the first time, I think people will be really excited for a Rock Band game.
I like that. Yeah. Either Rock Band or Guitar Hero. I think maybe Rock Band would be a little intimidating just because it actually like builds off of the existing music game architecture. But yeah, I like that.
We may end up going up to 10 now because we've gone pretty quickly.
I feel like I have to agree with a couple people in chat so far and say I think Minecraft is probably an experience people need to have.
You know what?
Put
yeah,
Minecraft
that is a very good point. Mm-hmm.
That's 5 already.
That's 5. Yeah. You know, I kind of want to say The Sims has got to be in there too, because that was a game that like created gamers out of millions of moms across the planet.
Pretty much anybody can play it just fine, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good game for anybody. It's very accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Wii Sports or something.
We can go to 10 now. We might as well go to 10. We've gotten to 6. Here we go. Let's go to 10.
How do you feel about either Portal or The Witness?
I like Portal.
Definitely Portal.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the Witness.
I think
Portal, definitely.
No offense.
I want to give
but,
I want to give a little bit more credit to The Witness actually, because there is like a contingent of gamers who are going to be amazed, just like Nick was by The Witness. My dad is actually included among those. I let my dad, who doesn't really play that many games at all, but he liked the old puzzle games like Riven and Myst, those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So he tried out The Witness, and he was completely enthralled by it. He played that for like 2 hours straight, which is completely abnormal for him. So
I
There's a
think
little
it's
bit
more
more there.
accessible than we give it credit to, because also my mom was sort of interested in The Witness, and she doesn't play that many games.
He has to draw a freaking dodecahedron on
Yeah.
Richard Feynman's balls in order to open a gate. Like,
that's
They don't necessarily have to beat the game, but at the same point, I understand
Right.
your point.
yeah. I like Portal though. I think Portal could certainly be included in there. That's a very good example.
Literally every survival game in existence. Needed.
Let's play
I feel like a strategy game should be in there, like Civ. Like a Civ game should probably
Civilization.
be
Yeah.
it.
How about Civ 5?
And your
They're
4 or 5.
notoriously inaccessible, though. Keep that in mind.
Very
I don't
true.
think Civ's that inaccessible.
Well, I mean, for someone who's never played a game before, that's what we got to consider here. And
It's
that
a lot of
may be-
UI. It's a lot of micromanaging,
Yeah.
time, resource management stuff.
You want fucking micromanaging to put you in freaking EU4, motherfucker.
Yeah.
How bold am I to posit Rocket League as a potential
God
inclusion
damn it.
into this list?
I can't even join you on that.
You can't.
Like,
It's not
Not-
that unreasonable.
not if we're only doing 10. Like,
I think it's new. I know that. But I feel it has merits here. I think it's very accessible. At the ground level, if you take away like aerials and all the complexities of the game we know now, I think like putting two new people against each other in Rocket League is still like a very novel concept. No?
I agree with that. I agree that it's a novel concept.
Okay. I can get that out of you.
What about no Civ? Instead, you put in like SimCity 4.
Yeah,
I like
something.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
that could
Yeah,
happen.
I like that better.
Okay. So
And I was gonna say, what about like one RPG put in there, a classic like BioWare, like either the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic or maybe like Mass Effect 1.
Mass Effect 1, I think, may be worthy of inclusion. Yeah, that is a good
One RPG.
If there can only be one RPG,
There
though,
can only be one RPG. Yeah, that's a tough one.
I mean, you could go classic Final Fantasy.
there's so many
We
good
will
RPGs.
be sliding a lot of people by saying that Mass Effect is the only RPG we're going to include in the list.
That's true. You could do like Chrono Trigger as well. Like Chrono Trigger is really impressive.
I feel like
Witcher 3 is
Earthbound
too
is
deep.
a story that's the most accessible to a lot of people
Right.
for an RPG.
Mm-hmm. That's a
My
very
first
tough
inclination
choice.
was Secret of Mana, but I don't think that's quite right either.
Yeah, I think the RPG is one of the more difficult ones because you have to invest pretty heavily in the story, pretty much regardless of the game. So that's a peculiar choice, but I like the other ones
Good
we've
list.
gotten up to this list. Yeah, so there we go. So thank you, Foster, for that question.
So if you're tuning in and you've never played video games ever,
there you go.
I hope you wrote those down.
Yeah, we made a lot of good lists today.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah, Foster, that was an
that
awesome
10?
question. I think we got to 10. Yeah.
I thought we got to like 7 and then just kind of like said a bunch of names.
We
but whatever,
sort of like
doesn't matter.
we created a lot of possibilities, but I think ultimately
Okay.
we got a good list there.
Play The Witness.
Play.
Oh, try Farlands if you haven't already. I recommend that one.
Okay, cool. Foster, thanks for the question. If you have got a question like that or completely unlike that, go ahead and send it over to roundtableyt@gmail.com. It's down there on the bottom. I finally added the email address to the slate on the stream. So
Hooray.
yeah, I'm a genius.
We need your questions. Please do send them.
Indeed. And now it's time for everybody's favorite segment. After that favorite segment is Nick's Weird Games. Nick's Weird Games is a segment we do every week. Nick's going to go get a weird game from his catalog of so many Nick's Weird Games. We're going to try to guess what it is based on hints and contextual clues. Theme song for this week's
What are you
Nick's
going to do
Weird
if one
Games.
week I'm just like, I don't have any more games?
That's a good question.
That's going to happen one week.
I don't think that's a possibility. I think you're acquiring weird games at a rate higher than what
Well,
we're using them
they're
at.
all in Steam now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The physical
You can't
package
give
to
us
hold
the
on.
actual representation of it anymore.
Yeah. I think I got at least another year.
Can you do a Nick's Weird Games theme song that is done to the tune of the Price is Right end theme that we were doing earlier?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's hang on, hide chat. Okay, go
I
ahead.
do actually
Sing
have
away.
to go get the
Yeah,
game
chat.
today, so have fun.
It's on Nick's Weird Game. It's on Nick's Weird Game. It's time for another game from the bookshelf that is behind Nick, and it is pretty burn. I don't know
I get to
how
play.
to.
Yeah. Can I be like the Price is Right like person who got chosen, like screaming, like, yeah, I get to play Nick's
I'm
Weird
not
Game.
gonna take 0% acknowledgement of fault for that going off the rails, but I'll take 50 if you take 50,
I think
because
that's-
that suggestion it boxed me into a corner that was quite difficult.
We were doing it
I didn't
enough,
even
I
get the
thought.
chance to say that it was from 2002 on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, that's the.
I know.
You guys do a
That's
come
a-
on down, or
No,
That's
it
a
didn't want to
staple.
come on down in yet.
Effectively, an average pop song, I've only got to think of like 60 words.
Yeah.
There's so many beats in the Price is Right theme song that come so quickly. Yeah, like that. Each one of those has to be a syllable, man.
Yeah.
That's tough.
All right.
Absolutely.
Here we go. Nick's Weird Games.
all right, you want to play? Here we go.
Here we go.
Today, for you and for your approval, I would like to submit a PS2 game that was brought out in the year of 2001. This was
Okay.
developed by developer Genki and published in the US by Ubisoft. It is a role-playing / action game, and it features a beast hunting and capture mechanic that sort of defined the gameplay. This game focuses on a series of 4 forests, which are made up of the 4 elements.
Mark
Lad.
of Cree. The Mark of Cree.
It's not the Mark of Cree.
So that you said a PS2 game?
The
Yes.
Mark of Zarya.
Is it a sequel to a game?
Yes.
Is
Wait,
it
why
Jade
are we?
Cocoon?
Why do I keep answering questions?
Is it Jade Cocoon? Is it Jade Cocoon 2?
Yes.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
nice.
I played those games.
Hell yeah.
I love the Jade Cocoon.
Good
It was
job,
Jade
man.
Cocoon 2.
Jade Cocoon was
Oh,
one of those
wow.
games I wanted to be like. I liked the first one a lot. The second one was, if I remember, was like all right.
The second one was received better than the first one, oddly enough.
Was it? I don't
And I
remember.
believe
liking
there's
it
a
as much.
third as well. Yeah, I was going to get into
like
all the specifics about the character names and getting the Beast Hunter's license, but you already kind of figured it out. So
thankfully that won't be necessary.
Jade Cocoon was a cool Pokemon-esque game. Wasn't it like merging? Like you could take two monsters and like make one monster
you
out
could
of
breed
it.
'em.
Yeah, you could like breed them or
Let
something.
me see that
Yeah,
box art
man.
again, Nick.
Yeah, sure thing.
The box art was really cool
that was
too.
really-
Yeah,
really
yeah.
Nice.
It's like a demon bat,
Yeah. Awesome.
like a ruined city or something.
Hey, we got a point, man. Goddamn, I forgot
Oh,
what
yeah.
that felt like.
Mushrooms.
That's
I'm
bullshit.
looking
We
for
got
who got it. I see Rumble Muffin guessed Jade Cocoon, but I don't see a 2 after
Ah,
it.
that
So I'm
doesn't
looking
count.
for the
God.
first number 2.
Garbage.
Come on, man.
Oh, there you go. Chronos Plays got a Jade Cocoon 2.
Chronos
Wow.
plays.
No mercy.
Good job.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Okay. Cool. I'm so unused to that ending in a positive light. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with my hands. Oh, man. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching this episode of Roundtable Live. Hope you enjoyed it. If you missed it live here on twitch.tv/Roundtable Podcast, you should click that follow button so you can be notified when we go live here every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. We should all be here. We all are going to be here next week, right? I'm pretty sure most of our traveling is taken care of for at least a little while.
Yeah, I'm
so-
good until August.
All right. There we go.
Same Z.
So we'll all be here next week, July 8th. You can catch the VOD over on our YouTube channels, Bear Taffy, Mathas Games, and Rock Lee Smile. You can also catch the audio-only version of the podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. You can rate the show 5 stars on iTunes. We really appreciate that. You can also support the show over on Patreon. Patreon.com/roundtable is where you want to do that. And we want to very graciously thank all of our kind and supportive patrons over there at the $20 level and above, which includes Scotty119, Nerdy is Fly, David Schmitz, Greenlight, Mavier, Oren Saltzman, Christopher Flagg. The rest of the list just disappeared on me out of nowhere. What the hell just happened? Okay. That's a new feature. Shit. Well, it's gone.
Thank you, everyone
Thank
else.
you. Oh, fuck.
You're awesome.
Sincere thanks to you guys. You're what makes us able to do this. We do appreciate you greatly. If you didn't support
Yeah.
the Patreon,
I-
consider it.
I'm gonna pitch Roundtable Live as a panel at PAX Prime.
Ooh.
Let's do it.
Uh-oh.
Then I got to go to PAX Prime.
Yeah, that's a
That's-
problem. We got to fund Nick's flight to PAX. Okay, sorry, the list completely went kaput on me, but thank you very much still to those of you who are supporting over there on Patreon. We really do appreciate that. And also, you can follow us at Roundtable PC on Twitter and discuss the show over on Reddit. That's roundtablepodcast.reddit.com or reddit.com/r/roundtablepodcast, whatever you want to do. And that's going to do it. So we'll catch you next week. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time. Goodbye. Goodbye. That's really
See ya.
loud.
Hey,
Oh,
guys.
I did it again.